Hey, it's Dr. Meredith Watson, the unapologetic therapist, creator of the Phoenix Therapy Method, founder of the MACSJC Foundation. Super excited to come on live. I don't come on live that often anymore, but we're going to start something new. Um, we're really talking about deservingness and what lack of that can be and how that can show up and how to grow that score, feeling more worthy of the things that you truly want. And what I found in my walk of life professionally and personally is that many people, for a variety of reasons, don't feel worthy. They're haunted by feelings of unfulfillment, lack in their personal life and their professional life. It's not uncommon at all. A lot of people suffer from poor health, poor physical ailments, persistent pain, and a lot of that comes from the fact that people are unaware or don't know or forget that our lives are deeply intertwined. Our thoughts, our emotions can have a profound effect on our physical health, and it often leaks into our professional lives and our businesses if you're an entrepreneur. And I don't think people remember that. And as a psychoneuroimmunologist, which is basically the study of how pain manifests itself as a result of unresolved emotions and trauma, as well as being a business and mindset strategist, I strive to help my clients to really create a life that they're happy with. Fear, blocking out and removing and becoming free of fear and negative emotions and unresolved trauma and really healing that. And then, as a fallout or as a bypart, to also be able to heal those ailments. And a lot of people are completely unaware that pain is a manifestation of unresolved emotions and trauma. And it was very difficult, not difficult, but it was, I guess, mind blowing when I came to that realization. In fact, it's the reason that I came into this work. I had 2 heart attacks in 16 months. It's healthy, active, no predisposition, no medical history of having or having to worry about getting or having a heart attack, especially before 35. And once I did the work and I talked to my cardiologist and I started following Dr. Dana Pritchard out of Florida, I realized that all of my ailments, not just the heart attacks, were a result of unresolved emotions and trauma, and having to heal that and rise above that and deal with it and excavate so that I could heal and become a better me is part of why I got into this work, and part of why I think I've been able to heal as quickly as I have been, because I've done the work and I decided that I wasn't going to let my pain usurp my life anymore. And that includes, autoimmune like fatigue and fibromyalgia and all the other illnesses that a lot of people deal with every day. And the journey that I take my clients through is a transformational journey, and it helps them understand their pain, whether it's physical, psychological, emotional, and really conquer those challenges and push beyond the limits that prevent them from being and doing all the things that they truly want to do. I'm always thinking that I'm on mute. One time I had a live where I was completely on mute, so I'm always cautious to see if I'm on mute or not, and if I'm even live. But through what I have as the MACSJC Foundation, we offer guidance and judgment-free to help you transform your life and really become and do and have the things that you truly want to be and truly want to have. And I think it's important that people really delve deep into what they want and to really strive to get those things. And like I said, I decided to get into this work and help people overcome and transcend their physical and mental ailments because of the hiccups that I had in my life. The 2 heart attacks in 16 months. I'm a homeschooling single mom, and that poses a very fantastic, although very exhausting journey. And going through emotional trauma, rising above and trying to be a light in darkness, not just for myself, but others, whilst going through all this, it can test one's faith, whatever your faith is in. It could test your tenacity, and it can test whether you think you can actually do it. And the truth is you can. It does take tenacity. It does take grace. It does take forgiving yourself for where you think you fall short or where you think you messed up. It's coming above that and forgiving yourself, and also applauding yourself for what you have accomplished, and always looking at the good and realize that life is not happening to you, but for you. And I've done a great deal of soul searching, and I've come to understand that, like I said, pain is the result of unresolved emotions and trauma. And most trauma is rooted in and created by and around people looking outside themselves for love, acceptance, validation, and belonging. And I found that most of my pain came from looking outside of myself, trying to belong, trying to keep up with the Joneses, shrinking so that I could belong, shrinking so that people wouldn't cause a ruffle in my life, or I would not be considered the person who was a wet blanket, who always was causing a ruffle. But in doing all that, I lost a sense of self. I forgot what meant anything to me. I forgot who I was at the core because I was so adamant that I was just going to blend in and not stand out. And I've realized, having access to a multitude of healing modalities has what's been instrumental in my very being able to sit here in front of you and have this conversation, because I decided that who I was more important than who allowed me to sit at their table. It was more important than shrinking to be a part of and shrinking to get the atta girl when it's like an addiction. You have that atta girl and then you want the next one and the next one and then the next one. Or you think you don't deserve anything better than to be just a seated person at someone else's table, when in reality you should go out and build your own table and decide who gets to sit at your table, and only have people at your table that are supporting and loving and uplifting, and not settle for just being a part of, or just being in a relationship, or just being a part of a group because you don't want to be alone. Once you are satisfied within yourself and you're bringing that love and acceptance and validation from the inside, you don't require it from the outside, and you are more willing to stand up for what you truly believe in and what your core values are without shrinking and deciding that what you are and who you are and what you want is not enough to stand out about. Having access to healthcare, healthy food, being able to afford choices and have privileges that allows you to be able to stand firm in what you believe and how you stand out and how you show up in the world. A lot of that has to do with kind of core beliefs that you had from growing up. I grew up being called Fatso, Oreo. I was trying to blend in. I was told I wouldn't become anything if I didn't follow the family tradition. And then deciding at a later age than I wish, but better late than never, what really mattered to me, and starting to know that I deserve and I was born worthy and I deserve the things that I desire, and that I don't have to shrink just to belong, and I don't have to settle. A lot of people settle because they're so afraid of the fallout, and they end up living a mediocre life. And I don't mean mediocre as in poor, I mean mediocre in a portion of the excitement and joy and pleasure that could come from just living your truth out. And many aren't brought up in environments that's very conducive to having choices. And what I endeavor to do is to teach people they deserve choices. They deserve to have their voices heard. They deserve to stand out. And I'm well aware that many don't believe that they deserve the things that they want. They think that things happen to them instead of happening for them. They treat the symptom instead of treating the root cause. They feel unworthy of the very things that they desire if it's just the basic things. They were told somewhere, by someone that actually they thought mattered and held value in their life, that they weren't worthy of the very things that they are deserving of. What triggered one of my heart attacks was I had a huge debacle, a huge disagreement with someone that mattered everything to me. I would kiss the ground they walked on. That's how important they were to me. And they crushed me to the very core of my being, and I took forever to recover. And even while I was recovering, I still was addicted to them. I still wanted their presence in my life. I still wanted them to stamp their approval on my life, until I realized they can't stamp approval on their own life. Like, they're stuck in their own journey, and their sum total of my worth can't be what I decide to measure my worth with. It can't be the measuring stick, the bar that I use to decide how much I'm worth. I'm priceless. And everyone around me is priceless, because we are created to bring something to the world that no one else can bring. Our fullest expression of ourself is what we should bring to the world. And I teach people to love themselves from within and know they're deserving, to feel that worth from within. They don't need anyone to tell them they're worthy or they're good enough. They know that from the core. And that takes time. It takes energy. It takes tenacity. It takes faith. It takes grace. It takes inner work. It takes excavating. It takes rising above the ashes that tried to consume you and knowing you're worthy of doing that. And that doesn't happen overnight, but it is worth the journey. It is worth the time and the effort that you put in to do that. And I created a digital app that allows you to have this portal of resources to support you in rising above the ashes that tried to consume you. It gives you tools to grow your self-worth, and it also teaches you to build a passion-based business that generates revenue so that you can have that stability and that security. A lot of people are so holier than thou that money, excuse me, doesn't solve all their problems. I don't know any problem that money can't solve, whether directly or indirectly, because money allows you to have choices and privilege and healthcare and healthy food and vacations to recuperate. And it gives you choices that not having money doesn't afford you. And there's nothing wrong with having money. And I think that having money has gotten a negative connotation associated with it, when having money allows you to have so much. And I think the reason a lot of people say money doesn't heal all your problems is people don't have the money to solve the problems with the money that they don't have, if that makes sense. Like, if you had the money, you probably wouldn't say that. I think it's kind of a soothing salve just to say that, oh, and it doesn't solve all your problems and I don't need it, but you do. It's required. It's the way we get things and buy things and barter. We pay for things to get other things. But my app supports you in unlocking your happiness, your wealth, and your success. And you can find out more about the app. You can grab the link in the comments and read all about it. It's my favorite thing in the world. I've created it. It's taken me years and years to really feel like it's complete, and I always add to it. So once you purchase the app, you still get updates. You have access to the updates without paying anymore once you bought it. And I hope you will go look at it. I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and I will see you on the other side.